Hello, my name is Jeff Whetstone, and today I will be presenting on the use of project-based learning and the cultivation of self-efficacy. I will also be speaking on how project-based learning helps lead students to greater self-efficacy. In today's presentation, there will be several areas I will be touching on, which include origins of project-based learning, benefits and motivations, student self-efficacy, teacher self-efficacy, 21st century skills and technology, project-based learning in STEAM, and diverse populations and limitations. Project-based learning has its roots in constructivism, an approach to learning that argues students' prior knowledge, active participation, and social interaction all influence their ability to gain new knowledge. The pragmatic, cognitive, and social features of learning are evidenced in John Dewey's philosophy of learning by doing and are significant features with the project-based learning approach. Constructivist teaching strategies have been welcomed into many classrooms with the hope that it will provide a meaningful learning experience, active student involvement, and a self-motivated journey of practical experience. Though project-based learning is a popular method embraced by many teachers, there appears to be no cohesive definition regarding this approach within the educational community. One review of the literature concluded that there is a lack of consensus regarding any singular definition of project-based learning. Project-based learning is often confused with or used interchangeably with problem-based learning, inquiry-based learning, problem learning, project method, and other terms. In a quantitative survey to better understand teacher perspectives and experience with project-based learning, half of the participants indicated that the main purpose of this method was to create projects, which does not agree with the foundational definition of project-based learning in current research. Though there is no one clear definition of this educational methodology, there are several widely accepted features of project-based learning that include utilizing a complex project formed around a driving question and a focus on a real-world topic, providing students choice at all levels, engaging in collaborative ecosystems, and ensuring that the evaluation and reflection of materialize throughout the process. There are different interpretations of what phases students will experience while engaging in the process of project-based learning, but the three main phases referenced by various researchers include planning, testing, and reflection in the creation of the project. These phases usually involve teachers for preparing the initiation of a problem-solving, self-directed learning, and finally the implementation, reflection, or outcome of the project. This student-centered approach to teaching has gained traction as a popular method of learning with many potential benefits. The traditional paradigm of teaching in which teachers transmit prescribed knowledge and students memorize facts that are assessed on standardized tests is no longer adequate for today's world. Project-based learning has emerged as an alternative to traditional teaching, and many educators have acknowledged its advantages. Students and teachers alike have noted that when participating in project-based learning, student engagement is high, creative, and peaked. Perseverance is cultivated, and divergent thinking is encouraged. Teachers have the daunting task of creating learning environments that will captivate student interest. The battle to fully engage students who are often inattentive or easily distracted in the learning activities, and the apparent lack of commitment to complete work outside the classroom are on top of those that teachers face in every subject. In a study of 10th graders who were perceived to be inattentive showed meaningful changes to their behavior and view of learning after the implementation of project-based learning. They became more punctual, responsible, committed, and honest, and recognized that the role of the learner requires that they take an active role in the learning process. The learning attitudes of students are also key in any meaningful learning. In a qualitative study that included educator surveys and interviews, teachers reported that students approached topics with enthusiasm and were highly engaged in the topic they chose to investigate. Teachers further described how their students became immersed in their own learning and improved their academic mindset. The implementation of project-based learning has shown a strong impact in the realm of student engagement. An important feature in studying the impact of project-based learning on students is to hear from the students engaged in this type of learning experience. In a study of 10th graders, questionnaires and student journal reflections have indicated that students themselves recognized an increase in responsibility, self-management, motivation, and confidence after participating in an in-depth project-based learning experience. In addition to these self-identified benefits, Students are also able to engage in collaborative experiences that enable them to build social skills. In general, social skills may be defined as socially acceptable learning behaviors that enable a person to interact with others in ways that elicit positive responses. The five clusters of social skills include cooperation, assertion, responsibility, empathy, and self control, all of which have been shown to be valued by parents and teachers. The cooperative nature and activities involved in project based learning allow for the growth of a variety of social skills, which is a vital part of one's life. To further expand on the growth through this type of learning, current neuroscience research shows that students must practice and use information in order to develop new neural networks and transfer knowledge into their long term memories. When students are completing rigorous and complex work during project based learning, the students' neural networks are being formed and connected. The research shows that project based learning is a proven instructional methodology by finding its results in deeper understanding, higher levels of critical thinking, and higher levels of conceptual processing. The research supports the myriad of benefits that emerge from the implementation of project based learning. Self efficacy. People's beliefs about their abilities have a profound effect on those abilities. Ability is not a fixed property. There is a huge variability in how you perform. People who have a sense of self-efficacy bounce back from failures. They approach things in terms of how to handle them rather than worrying about what can go wrong. Albert Bandura. The opportunity for students to have an active role in their own learning experience can be empowered and transformative. A unique feature of project-based learning is allowing students to have a voice in the process. In PBL, students go through an extended process of inquiry and response to a complex question, problem, or challenge, while allowing for some degree of student voice and choice. Rigorous projects are carefully planned, managed, and assessed to help students learn key academic content, practice 21st century skills, such as collaboration, communication, and critical thinking, and create high-quality, authentic products and presentations. Providing learners with autonomy, which can differ from definition from culture to culture and person to person, the psychological impact is profound, as it provides the inner capacity for self-directions and self-regulation of learning. The autonomy and collaboration inherent in project-based learning can provide opportunities for students to strengthen their voice and grow their beliefs in their own abilities. Albert Bandura argued that the definition of perceived self-efficacy refers to a person's opinion with respect to his or her competency to achieve expected performance levels. Because efficacy perception has a key role in affecting behavior, both directly and indirectly, it impacts personal determinants including aspirations and goals, outcomes, expectations, affective inclinations, and social insecurities and self-doubt. There are opportunities for self-growth in self-efficacy and the addressing multiple intelligences through project-based learning. Self-esteem is important to learning and when encouraged to use areas of their multiple intelligence. Students felt value and more intrinsically motivated. The process of creating a product from a central idea through research and inquiry applies Gardner's theories of multiple intelligences. Through project-based learning, students fully engage in their learning, applying the skills and knowledge they attain in their classes to projects for solving authentic problems. Project-based learning's philosophy is that learning can be more engaging when students initiate it through what they would want to know rather than instructed by the teacher. When students hold the power and engage in the process of their own learning, students are more motivated and their beliefs in their own abilities grow. This cycle helps improve the student experience by using authentic problems and giving students ownership over their projects in which they learn to build practical solutions to real-world problems. By leveraging interest and enjoyment, students are more willing to enjoy and explore novel ideas and exert their creative potential. The growth of creativity is a factor that can impact a learner's self-efficacy and confidence. The study of characteristics of student self-efficacy and self-regulatory development suggests that building confidence is a vital part of student motivation. And important as self-esteem is to learning, motivation is vital in promoting a thirst for new knowledge. When students are emotionally invested, the motivation for learning increases. The autonomy of collaboration inherent in project-based learning are facets also commonly found in the research. In addition to the authentic nature of problem solving, problem-based learning provides the opportunity for students to feel more secure in expressing their ideas with people which they are familiar. Interpersonal relationships are special social environments are also important for students' self-concept, motivation, and achievement. Interpersonal relationships are developed through the collaborative nature of project-based learning in a trifold capacity. Teachers collaborate across disciplines and with each other, teachers collaborate with students, and students collaborate with each other, all of which creates possibilities for interdisciplinary connections and relationship building. In addition to the potential of project-based learning to significantly impact the self-efficacy of learners, teachers have reported to also reap the benefits of this approach to teaching. For teachers to feel autonomous, they must develop a strong sense of personal responsibility for their teaching, their continuous reflection and analysis of their teaching, and effective and cognitive control of the teaching process. Little, 1995, acknowledges that there is a connection between teacher and student autonomy, since it is unreasonable for teachers to foster independence in their learners if they themselves do not know what it is to be an autonomous learner. Project-based learning allows for a much more democratic process than traditional teaching, allowing students to express their ideas and opinions freely. By collectively making decisions, students felt empowered by being the proposers instead of just receivers of learning. Self-efficacy beliefs of teachers regarding project-based learning for good teaching practices are significant. Self-efficacy levels and perceptions of teachers about project-based listening approach, but both important in the teaching of the course according to their aims and in the addition to providing the students with the logical thinking skills, overcoming the difficulties encountered in the application of innovative educational technologies, and raising successful individuals. Rapidly growing technology, the development of new careers, and changing world demands are several of the issues that have caused a shift in schools to put students at the center of learning. Project-based teaching is one of the methods that is more student-centered. This approach has resulted in extensive collaboration between teachers, classrooms, and specialist teachers in order to carry concepts across disciplines while encouraging student choice in learning. Though there seems to be dramatic benefits to teachers who employ project-based learning, this approach is not without its challenges for those in the profession. Since it is not easy to implement project-based learning, it is recommended that teachers engage in pre-activities to help students and teachers adapt to the process, as well as prepared time schedule for students and prompt feedback from teachers. Some of the greatest concerns regarding this learning approach are difficulties in finding appropriate teaching strategies, choosing suitable projects, selecting relevant assessment rubrics, and developing learning content that suits the main purpose of the curriculum. These concerns suggest a strong need for teacher training in the method of teaching. Teachers need to receive adequate training in the implementation of project-based learning, as teacher guidance is one of the most important fundamentals in project-based learning. It is vital that teachers understand the features of PBL, learn suitable curriculum content knowledge, and discover relevant resources and materials unique to adopting a project-based learning approach and teaching strategy. This approach requires that a teacher's role is less of an instructor who delivers information and more of a guide or facilitator. It requires that teachers know their learners' interests, listen, then they see enthusiasm about a topic, and help students move in a direction they want to go without getting defensive when students like their own ideas better. Student-based learning has the potential to have a robust impact on teacher efficacy, but it also comes with the need for more training so that educators fully understand how to harness its power in the classroom to benefit students. There has been a call from some educators and researchers to utilize pedagogical models that require deep learning to ensure that students leave school ready to face the challenges of the 21st century. These deep learning skills include character education, citizenship, communication, critical thinking, problem solving, collaboration, creativity, and imagination. The Hewlett Foundation outlines the elements of deeper learning as content mastery, critical thinking, problem solving, collaboration, effective communication, self directed learning, and an academic mindset. There is potential for these skills to be cultivated by a project based learning approach. The survival of a society depends on its ability to respond intellectually and creatively to social, economic, political, and environmental problems. If one of the goals of education is to equip learners with the skills requisite to successfully exist in the 21st century skills, project based learning can provide authentic experience to cultivate these skills. Providing students with challenging and natural problems widens their interpersonal, experiential, and multidisciplinary skills. This cycle helps enhance student motivations by using real world, authentic problems and gives students ownership of their projects. They deal with real world situations where they learn to build practical solutions beyond their domain knowledge and learn by constructing their own experiences. Student benefits greatly from immediate, creative, and personalized feedback through the process of project based learning, allowing them to reflect and improve their understanding of the topic. Feedback is an integral part of the learning process and encourages the reflective process that is crucial to the project based learning approach. The digital revolution has become a catalyst for rethinking and innovation of pedagogical paradigms and instructional approaches to learning. The advancements in the realm of technology have had a transformative effect in education. The juxtaposition of developing 21st century skills and competencies for the increasing population of digital citizens, i.e., people whose daily activities encompass consumption of social networking and sharing information, mobile technology invaded all aspects of social existence, with education setting being a perfect context to expand opportunities for independent and mobile learning. The integration of mobile technologies into the hands of students and educators has introduced a new method of enhancing both assessment and feedback practices. More immediate feedback increases student engagement in the learning process, and the independence of time and location encourages the exercise of freedom in critical thinking. Access to technology encourages students to shift from traditional passive learning to a more active participant in their own learning journey. Digital native students from the generation born into the digital age perceive the world differently from prior generations. Their perceptions are rooted in looser concepts of privacy, self, friendship, information ownership, communication, styles, creativity, threat, and productivity than previous generations. They perceive social media as part of their lives and feel no reluctance in accepting it in their coursework. They see social media as a positive phenomenon that brings dialogue and engagement with teachers and peers, and it can foster a positive relationship with faculty members, breaking down the characteristic barriers between teachers and students in a traditional classroom. The technological savvy learners of today are familiar with and engage with devices and social media as a regular part of their experience. With the development of social media, daily communication and dynamics in the classroom and educational settings have changed. Project-based learning can leverage social media by providing a vehicle for students to stay connected and increase intrinsic motivation. Employing social media in higher education can enhance the level of motivation for students in learning who already utilize these platforms every day. Utilizing social media platforms can provide even more opportunities for students to interact with and engage in the learning process. PBL is one of the constructivist teaching strategies that has been garnering more attention and is becoming more common in science education. STEAM courses have a unique connection to this approach to learning, and there has been considerable research studies that have investigated the effectiveness of project-based learning on science achievement. A successful implementation of project-based learning within STEAM subjects should collaboratively engage students in many processes, including motivating students' inquiry, drafting the process, including a timeline and benchmarks, and assessing and reflecting upon the curriculum content. In this approach, the essential question is central to the inquiry process, and it should spark ideas, inquire students' knowledge when problem solving, and drive big themes not easily solved and answered. The approach is unique geared towards problem solving within science courses. But beyond science courses, some art educators have embraced the facets of project based learning. Art education should be authentic and open experience that precedes an unpredictable process towards diverse possibilities. It should be self initiated projects, socially compelling, and generating vibrant inspiration as it unfolds. The project based approach helps teachers assess, evaluate, and provide feedback to students and within their own teaching, which improves the quality of art education lessons. This design process does not solely focus on the final product, but it celebrates the planning in each carefully measured phase. In a specific study of elementary students in art classes, students learned how art connected to other disciplines and helped them gain a global understanding, encouraging them to think critically and create work based on personal choice. The creativity and inquiry inherent in STEAM courses has encouraged a project based approach to be more common and relevant and embraced in recent years. Based on many studies regarding project based learning with exceptional and diverse groups, project based learning appears to be an effective and instructional method for both general education and unique student groups. Project based learning provides a more equitable learning environment and positively contributes to the academic environment and achievement of students. The projects also allow the use of alternative approaches to students' individual differences, different learning styles, intelligence, abilities, or disabilities. In a study of elementary school fourth graders, learners felt empowered and enthusiastic about attending school and gaining knowledge through inquiry, regardless of ethnicity or socioeconomic status. In a study of low income middle school students using PBL, Gallagher 2013 found that more students revealed characteristics of advanced academic potential. The potential benefits to diverse students is a powerful motivator for many educators to embrace this approach in learning. However, there are some significant factors that contribute to teachers' willingness to utilize project based learning within their own classrooms. Students have shown that there is an experience effect which influences a teacher's willingness to embrace project based learning strategies, specifically in regards to diverse learners. Teachers who have had more experience with special education and or English language learner populations are more likely to support the use of project-based learning with these groups. The decision teachers make regarding the use of PBL are influenced by both their own familiarity with the approach and their own experience with the specific diverse population. In addition, teachers are more likely to support use of project-based learning with gifted students not showing an experienced effect regarding the use of the strategy with that particular group. The effectiveness of project-based learning seems to be a valuable approach to use with all student groups, but the willingness of teachers to use the method in educating diverse learners seems to depend on the experience with many of those particular groups. Regarding limitations, there are several on the research regarding the implementation and effectiveness of PBL and the research that examines the approach to education. Much of the research is limited due to the fact that studies often do not collect quantitative data with regard to student performance. Since many of the studies involve surveys of teachers and student perspectives of PBL, more research is needed regarding its effectiveness in achievement. It is recommended to use mixed method design in future studies to include both qualitative and quantitative data to provide more insight. Many of the studies have been conducted in one school or a limited few. The results of the studies are not generalizable to other situations, other schools, and other learners. Fewer studies have been conducted with young learners than with middle and high school students, though a limited research does show positive results. In addition to younger students, more research regarding diverse groups would be helpful. Research is needed on the effects of PBL and PJBL on diverse groups of students, including culturally and linguistically diverse students, economically disadvantaged students, and students with special needs. There is a significant gap in current literature related to the use of PBL learning with diverse or exceptional learners as there is limited information regarding teacher instruction in PBL for these learners. Through project-based learning, we have been shown very promising results as a transformative learning experience. More high quality research should be conducted in a variety of areas in order to help educators make informed decisions regarding learning experience for both teachers and students. And here is my list of references used in this presentation for your viewing. Thank you very much for listening. Again, my name is Jeff Whetstone, and have a good day.